Hi, I'm Nick Schweitzer, and I'm going to show you another build in Power BI. The first time around, we looked through the some sports data from the American Ninja Warrior competition, and that was pretty fun. Now we're going to dive into a different data set from this amazing GitHub repo of awesome data. So GitHub/awesome data, and it's got a list of awesome public data sets we can use. So I have been looking around, and transportation is something that I find super interesting. I'm a huge fan of biking. I'm also a fan of trains, but I clicked into this German train system, and it was all in German. I was very tempted because I know German, I know some German at least, but I don't think that's the right way to go for us. So let's try to find one of these bike data sets that's any good. So I will go with Montreal, Philadelphia. See if we can get some great data from the Philadelphia. Um, what are we looking at here? Is this just all a big JSON? Um, well, it looks like this is a big JSON thing, JSON string. And instead of freaking out about this, I think I am going to see if I can get this guy open in Power BI. So I'm pulling up. I should have had Power BI up all for you all already. So we're going to look at this data set from Philadelphia bike share stations. Oh, it does. It says JSON right there. All right. Time to wake up, guys, guys and gals. So I've got Power BI on my other screen. It's massive. I'm going to click on Get Data, and I am going to do online services and see how this works. We just do um, API. No. Online services. Oh, okay. We can try JSON. It's probably going to try and point me to a file. Yeah, it wants a file here instead. Um, okay. So I'm going to show you, I have not done a ton with the API. I think it's just web. There we go, web. That's easier than what I was trying to do there. I was about to pull up Chat GPT and see. I use that tool quite a bit to help me with Power BI. And let's see if this works. We're just anonymously connecting to this JSON file that we saw earlier. And another thing I might do is, not WordPad, Notepad. Notepad++ is an awesome tool that I know a lot of people in data already use, but if you haven't, everything's opening on my other screen here. So uh, WordPad++ or Notepad++, my goodness, um, to my knowledge. So I'm also going to look at this same data set in WordPad real quick, just to show you JSON in case you haven't seen it before. So I've got, go back to this Philadelphia bike share stations. I'm going to see if I can just copy all this. So Control A, Control C, and then we'll pop into Notepad, Control V, and still we don't see a lot of structure here. I'm not sure what that man is about. Actually, I'll just leave it. So one of the cool things about the Notepad++ is that you can select language, and then it will do formatting that's specific to that language. So I think we're just using a regular JSON, which is, oh gosh, it's JavaScript object, and I don't remember the N. Okay, and that doesn't give us, it does some nice color formatting for us, but I don't see the rest. Sometimes you'll get really sweet indentations. Let me see if I change it to JSON 5, if that does anything for us. Oh, and see, okay, maybe we do have some indentation here. All right, let's see what that looks like in Power BI. So I didn't get a whole lot of easy ideas about the structure from, whoa, okay, look at all what Power BI has done for us here. Power BI has automatically, once we pull this JSON in, converted to this source data, and so we have a last updated. It looks like, oh, this is live data. That is exciting. We've got some latitude and longitude coordinates here, it looks like, and we can check on a map to see what those look like. I don't, well, we can always just see, you can also just Google this. So if I copy this value and go to, oh, yeah, type this in, just go to a regular Google tab, and I'm going to copy what I believe is the longitude. And I haven't worked with geodata in a while, so this is embarrassingly, I don't know how to translate these, but you don't necessarily have to. So if I just plug it in like this, I'm not getting a whole lot on the map. Oh, but look, the closest thing is Sochi International Airport. So I think I have these backwards. And I'm going to, oops. Oh, right, okay, so 39 degrees, 39.94, that puts us square into what is Philadelphia. Looks like right on the Pennsylvania-Philadelphia border, where there are wars over cheesesteaks, and who has the best cheesesteaks. So now we know at least the order. We can also do that in Power BI, but I do pop in and out. So I do get the ID of the station, properties. Oh, okay, so that it has a name. And we just scroll, and it looks like we've got 236 rows of bike station data, and total docs available. Oh my goodness, this is super cool. And certainly this data is available. I would hope, based on the fact that somebody probably has a website for this already. But it's cool that we could use this for whatever data we need. Imagine you wanted to open up a new Starbucks or something, and you know that people who do bike, or maybe not Starbucks, maybe your own coffee shop, but people who bike to work. Oh, look, we've got latitude and longitude labeled here. So I'm not sure why they have why the data set has so many properties named the same thing, but I think the real interesting thing, we've got a list here within the bikes. Zip code, lots of ways of mapping this. And let's pop this out, expand to new rows. Let's try that. Okay, now we have a record. Let's see what that record is. Oh, is electric. Okay, dock number 1. Oh, so it's dock by dock data. Oh, how fascinating is that? Is electric, false. Is available, true. So if you're going to be going up some hills, probably don't want the dock number 1 at this at the welcome park. All right, so there's that Power BI record. And honestly, I have not dealt too much with records in my data sets before, but okay, we'll just do expand like this, and we've got, okay, doc number 1 has all that same data set that we had, as opposed to clicking into it. And that is probably why we had, okay, so many different labels of this one, what is the same station. Okay, so let's go ahead and do some quick visualization of this. So I haven't been to Philadelphia in a long time. Got a lazy table name here, but I'll demonstrate changing the table name in case that's something. So we went from, I think, 200 stations to lots of different rows. So Philadelphia bike docks. Okay. Still sort of a lazy name, but it tells us a lot more. And look at all of these. Okay. You could certainly do a lot of renaming here, but you know me, I love to see a map. Actually, you don't know me necessarily. I love to see these things on a map. I also love Azure Maps. Azure Maps is, oh, but I can't use Azure Maps unless I'm signed in. So I will just use the regular map. Azure Maps has some great advantages, but let's see here. So we've got one of my favorite is the favorite advantages of Azure Maps is that you can use a selection tool if you're trying to add up quantities across different locations or locations. So ooh, look at that, so beautiful. It pops up so quick, and all the people from Philadelphia are proud. Wow. Um, I have never spent any time in Camden, but I know this is a densely populated area over here as well. So it's crazy to me that, oh, and it seems like such a bummer that you can't cross the state line with the bike. I guess that's probably pretty common up in New Jersey. They probably can't cross into New York with the city bikes, but um, still, that's kind of a bummer. So we have an observation already for you know maybe something that could make this bike system more effective. And I bet you that at some point there's probably bikes. If you've ever seen a city bike abandoned and stolen, there's probably some over here. Sorry, Camden. And there's probably some over here as well. But um, yeah, maybe it would just be healthier if the system, if they figured out a way to share those bikes across the systems. And maybe I'm jumping to conclusions because I really don't know. So now we can bring in, I don't know what these kiosk types are, but I have used some, oh, okay, kiosk type. It looks like it's numerical. I am going to come to don't summarize. Okay, what is this kiosk type? Kiosk status, full service. That's good. It looks like we don't have any that are out of service. Property's name, that's fun and interesting. Uh, and okay, all of these very helpful names. I would pretty much always add the name to the map just for human readability. So I put that into the tooltips, and for each one of these locations, it's going to show me, oh, 7th and Dickinson, Singh and Tasker, Water and Mifflin. Thank goodness that was an easier one. So I'll click out on this. I'll click out, since we can't really get to what this kiosk status is. Well, you know what? I would also Google this, or DuckDuckGo. Kiosk status, Philadelphia bike dataset. Just see if we can get to some sort of indigo bike set. Okay. Maybe so it looks like we've got lots of information on the datasets here, how it works. A touchscreen kiosk. So it's hard to know which one's a touchscreen kiosk, but maybe we can imply some things from looking at it on the map. Again, I'm not sure why. I'm just kind of following. I'm not starting with a hypothesis here, which is really always useful if you can start with a hypothesis to test based on your real world observations. That's awesome, but you don't always have that. And really, if we're just exploring in Power BI, there's no harm in just exploring and hacking around. I think one of my favorite things to think back on with respect to this is that I'm clicking into ball. I want to change the color real quick, but then I'll get back to that story. But one of the main I'm a huge Freakonomics fan. I'll probably mention that every time I do one of these. But something that they mentioned in the Freakonomics books is one of their main the first hypothesis that they have and kind of proved out in the first book is that there's a relationship between the legalization of abortion and the crime declining in cities years later. So they can look at when when Roe v. Wade went into effect in different locations, or how it changed local laws, and then they looked at the crime data, so that the yeah, and basically it went down 18 to 20 years later in general. So they were able to say this looks like a causal relationship. But that's not what I wanted to bring up. What I wanted to bring up is that they they found that data by just kind of scrolling through some data sets and then looking at and then realizing, hey, this should have some sort of impact on the types of uh, types of babies. That's not what I want to say, but just the babies in certain situations are being born differently. What impacts could that have? But they got it by just kind of scrolling through data and seeing what was interesting and asking questions. So it doesn't always have to start with a hypothesis that you've observed. You don't always have to start that way. You can start looking at what data is available and say, oh, what can we find out from this? So I'm passionate about that, and if nothing else, you can still just develop your skills of exploratory data analysis um, without always having a direction. But a direction is great. So this table is really bothering me because it's just showing nothing now. Even though I want to focus on this, I need to take from this table the left. I need to get the I don't remember which one it was that made this so long, but at this point, we've got different kiosk types. Uh, and I would hypothesize, oh, it's hard. It's hard looking at this in the different colors. I mean, I have red for the kiosk type 10. Kiosk type 1 is uh, is blue. I can't really tell which one would be touchscreen. There are. It looks like there's way more um, touchscreen, or it looks like there's way more of one than the other. So the way I can check that is I pulled kiosk type here, and now I want to look for just the ID properties. Oh, the kiosk ID. Okay. And x-axis kiosk ID. Oh, actually, so I want to count the kiosk IDs with with either a 1 or a 10. This is not super useful for this one, but it's only 1 in 10. I don't think that those are more like categories. So I can come into the x-axis here and change it from. So I go to visual, x-axis. I've got some sort of alert here, but I'm going to change it from continuous to categorical. All right, that looks better. And so it looks like we definitely have way more kiosks that are type 1 versus type 10. I'm going to go back to this kiosk status. Many stations have a touchscreen kiosk. Check your bike using the mobile app or with an Indigo rider's must be. So based on that, this is not. I would infer from that statement that many stations. It doesn't say most or a majority, so I'm gonna guess that it's only the red ones um, that have the touchscreen. So red one being kiosk type 10, and I wonder if I can now go. This is out there, but this is a lot of Front and Queen Bike Station, Philadelphia. So we'll see what we can infer from this, because I kind of want to make a different column here. All right. I'll pop into here, and then if not, we'll do some real sleuthing. Is this the Fourth and Queen? Front? Did I get that wrong? Is it Front and Queen? Front and Queen. Okay. Um, I'm gonna pop into this Google map. Oi. I'll look this up. I'm trying to use this. Ah, hi Philadelphia. Looks very sunny here. Front and Queen Indigo Station. Looks like whenever this picture is from, we're not getting. Ooh, zoom. I wonder if you ever play that game where they do, where you can click through things and see. So, all right, front and go. I'm not or front and go. Front end. This station. I'm not seeing a touchscreen, but I'm not sure that this is even the front and Queen station. But this is what these bikes look like. It makes me want to get on the bike right now. Oh, here we go. So here is a map, and beautiful. Okay, now we're down in the comments. So I'll get off the internet now. You can do more research on that on your own. I still don't really know which one's touchscreen, which one's not, but that's not necessarily important. Let's see to our analysis. There's other things we might be able to figure out from this. So I am actually interested whether most of them are. So I'm gonna whether they're electric or not. So we're looking at this at it's 2 p.m. on a Saturday in Philadelphia, and I know one of the things they've shown is pretty obvious that people don't bike as much when it rains. So I don't know. I wonder what the weather is like over there right now. So basic map, nothing beautiful, but I want to save this. Oh, you know what? I'll do one of my favorite things, and instead of creating a new page, I am going to make a larger page. So I'm coming into just clicking on the white space here, going to format your report page, canvas settings, and we'll go to custom. And I'm going to give myself another, I don't really care, we can always cut it down, and give myself another 1,700, another 1,000 pixels rather. And then I'll zoom in. So as opposed to making people click on a new report page, they can just scroll. Now I am interested in the bikes that are electric. So that's going to be, we're going to have different dock numbers and stations. Now, I think when we look at this data set, we'll have to make a combination of the station and the dock. I wonder if we can, is there a bike ID in here? I didn't see, when I looked up bike, the ID didn't come up. So not seeing, got electric bikes. And yeah, I'm not seeing it. So I think for the moment, we can define each bike as a dock and a bike. Oh, classic bikes available. So not every dock will be filled. That's kind of an issue though, because we don't want to just. We have is available, is electric, and battery. I have always wanted to look at this actually. I'm very interested to see some of this data here. So we've got is electric, true, false. Bikes available, and right now, the bikes available unsummarized. Oh, okay. So this, I wonder how this looks when we pull in the dock ID. Dock number. This is fun. You can see that. You can see. Whoa. Okay. So some of these. Wow. Some of these have up to 37 docks. That is crazy. So for some reason, I'm guessing that just people approach it from the front and back, and so most of these stations have 1 to 12. 12 different docks, and then we have other docks that are much larger. But for some reason, yeah, that is fun. But right now, let's see. Does this really mean? Let's look at the. Let's get some basics here. I really dove in on the map. sometimes that's it's so fun to make the map, but then you forget about the basics and actually understanding this data set. Because I think we said that there were about 200 stations, but let's go ahead and make that. Let's make that a something that we can rely on. So properties ID, sum of IDs, and we want the count of distinct IDs. So that's right, we got about 236. To change that to a card, count of 236 stations. Let's go ahead and change that. Number of stations. There we go. So you can see, wow. I mean, one of the things I actually previewed Copilot, Power BI Copilot a little bit, and you could see where having it make a lot of this for you out of the box is really helpful, and then you can customize things your way afterwards. But also, some of this is we're going through the process of thinking right now. So, oops, I didn't want to do that. And so we're learning about the data set and also kind of getting a handle on what these mean. So I do wonder if we had Power BI make this directly for us, we lose a little bit of that familiarity with this data set. So that's, pros and cons of having the Copilot. Okay. So doc number looks like it's specific to each of the stations. So I'm going to make now, we've taken this from a JSON format. Thanks, Power BI did most of it, but we've taken it from a JSON format to like a tabular standard table format. And we can do something like a station doc ID, where we just concatenate the ID of the doc, or ID of the station, and I'm going to use the ampersand and make a dash in between these, and then we'll just do the doc. Oh, of course, it's all I named the docs. So what is the actual docs available? I don't want to click out of this because I just want to get the doc. Oh, doc number. Okay. Doc number. So that's going to look like we just created a sort of an individual indicator here for this is station 3005-1. So now every doc has its own ID. And interesting that so everything is based on the station first, and then it has sub characteristics. My JSON memory is weak. It's been a long time since I messed around with it, so I forgot the name. But now we can count this instead. And then the first station doc, interesting, but not as interesting as okay. So we've got 1,800 bike docks in the city of Philadelphia. And items. Ooh, number of docks. And the most commonly filled one is this. There's 102 bikes available. Okay, so that was all to see is there. So the maximum number of bikes available would be 1825. So this bikes available feature or property rather refers to the entire station. And then I think the way our JSON worked is it expanded at each line. Maybe I can just go to this and filter for just 3005. I could have done this and learned quite a bit more. Total docs. So yeah, if we just sum across total docs for each doc, we're going to end up with way too many data points there. So way too many docks, way too many bikes. So that's something where we should not be summing across all of the docks. We're just using them. So of course, there's not that many bikes available. The bike available here. Oh yeah, so any insights I drew from this were wrong, or not. They're not necessarily wrong, but they were wrong, identified for the wrong reason. So the bike available, electric bikes available, those things all refer to the station. So I am going to make another specific column because I just want to have a 1 or a 0 for the dock level data. So I guess actually now we could, instead of doing that, I could try to do it without and see, go to our, so, okay, JSON learning here. This might be a little weak. So all this stuff, bikes, battery, bikes, dock number, bikes is available. So instead of this, we will just count is available. And we get a much more reasonable breakdown here. And it's still 1, but now 12 is not correct. There's not the number 2 anymore. So it's 1, 3, 4, and 12 are the top docks available. And as interesting as that is, I also want to see if it's electric. So we can do a couple different things, but well, yeah. I actually just want to see bikes available. Not bikes available, I'm sorry, is available and is electric. So how many electrics are so now we can count. We can use the station dock ID. There's probably a way to do it otherwise. Station dock ID to count the different amounts. All right, I'm going to change this to electric. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Don't summarize. So I'm going to change this to available. And basically, wow, so tons of electric available bikes right now. 896, that's the majority of the bikes, it looks like. And then the next biggest is non-electric bikes that are available. So wow, a lot of the bikes that are on the docks right now are available. And I'm looking at, wow, that's just tons of. I wonder if for some reason this doesn't show. This will be kind of hard to, maybe hard to research, but are the bikes available, or are the empty docks even listed here? I'm guessing so based on something, but I've also been doing this run through for quite a while. So I am going, but based on this, sorry, I am guessing that the weather in Philadelphia right now is not kind to biking. Because I'm thinking that if this is saying that most of the bikes here are on, most of the docks are full. Because we have it, oh gosh, dollars of bikes. Number of bikes, okay. Most of these are full. Let's check out the weather in Philadelphia. 67 degrees, I would bike in that. Okay, so I am wrong. Something about my analysis is probably off here. But I'm going to wrap up for now, and we'll come back in another session to see what's going on. But thank you.